Don't tell anyone what you'll see in this video, because this might be the coolest Python tool you have seen till date. It is very new and only a few know about it, and that is the Streamlit Python framework. And it is not just a framework, it is a complete free service which allows you to create modern interactive Python web apps and also data visualization dashboards and deploy them instantly. The framework is tied to a cloud service, so your apps are public right away. So in this video I'll show you how to create apps and data dashboards with Streamlit. That is the official webpage of Streamlit, and you don't need to have any account, you just go straight away and create a Python script. So I'm using REPL, as you know already. You can do this on your favorite IDE, on your local computer if you like. Create web apps and data dashboards. So I'll introduce you to Streamlit by first creating a simple web app, which is basically just a website which has some text. And then we add pandas, data frame tables to that web app and also graphs. So you need to import Streamlit. It's a good practice to name that ST because that's what you will see among the documentation of Streamlit and what other programmers will use in the internet community. So it's good to be in line with that style. Then you can refer to Streamlit, so ST in our case, and set a title first for your website. Our first Streamlit app. And to add perhaps a subheader, introducing Streamlit in automate everything with Python. So we have a title, a subheader, and let's add some text such as this is our first web app. And if you want this to be multi-line text, you want to use triple quotes there, triple quotes there. That allows you to add more lines such as enjoyed, yeah, like that. And that is enough for a simple web app. Let's run this. Now to run this, you don't just run with the run button. What you need to do is, one way to run this is to go to the shell and to write Streamlit run main.py, but don't do this. A better way to run is by creating an empty .replit file. So .replit. Create that file in here. So that's an empty file. If you are running this locally, then you should use this command. In REPL, you create that file and do run equals to double quotes, open and close, and you put that command there. So streamlit run main.py. So our file where the code is called main.py. That's why we have that. So when we run the project now with this button will execute that command. Normally that button executes the command python main.py. But when you have that .replit file in here, that button reads the content of this file and runs the command inside those quotes. So, ready to run. Run. Streamlit will be installed now, so this should take a while. Once the installation is complete, then you should get this prompt here. You don't have to enter an email, you can just press enter here. And here is the web app. That's the title, that's a subheading, and that's the content. Now let's take a look at the address of the app. This is a local IP address. That means you cannot access the app from the outside of the network. So not anyone can view your app just yet. Although in some repos, you will get a public URL. If you don't get a public URL, then you can deploy your app, and I'll show you how now. To deploy your app so that everyone can visit your web app, you need to have GitHub. So you need to have a GitHub account, and you need to be logged in that GitHub account in your browser. So for example, I'm logged in my GitHub account here, and then what you need to do is you have to go to the version control section of repo. If you are locally on your computer, if you're using PyCharm, Visual Studio Code, etc., you can still do this. So you have to upload your code into GitHub. So do that if you are using a local IDE. If you are on REPL, you have to go here, as I'm doing, create a Git repo. Now, if you are not still connected with your GitHub account, REPL will ask you through a window here to connect to your GitHub account. Make sure that you allow pop-up windows for your browser, in your browser for this page. Otherwise, a window might be hiding here which will ask you to log in to GitHub. So you may have a bar or a notification here. So be careful of that. In my case, I can just press connect to GitHub because I have already clicked on that pop-up window that I got previously. So here you create a GitHub repository where you want to upload your code to the GitHub servers. The visibility of the repository should be public, otherwise this will not work. Streamlit will not be able to get your repository. Press public and then create repository. Right, then if you click here, this should take you to that GitHub repository. So that's our code. Main.py is the code we have been writing in this video. And that's the homepage of the repository. So here. Now, the next step is to go to share.streamlit.io. And then you want to connect to continue with GitHub. And you want to authorize Streamlit to connect with your GitHub account. The community version should be fine, so continue. You have to fill in this data and press on continue. Then this page should show up, so you want to press on that drop-down list and go to from existing repo. Then go here to paste GitHub URL, and you should now go to your repository, click on main.py, and then copy the URL that you see in your browser. So copy that and paste it in here and press on deploy. And wait a while until the deployment is completed. And that's the app, and that's the URL. So that URL, you can copy it and you can close this page, perhaps open a private browser, paste that URL there, and you'll see that you can access the app. So it's visible for everyone. Right, let's go back to our development environment now and see how we can add a graph. To create a graph, we need some data, and pandas is a good library to work with data. So let's create, for example, some data first using a Python dictionary, and that create a pandas data frame out of that dictionary. So let's suppose we have series 1, this string, it has a list of 1, 3, 4, 5, 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items in the list, a comma, series 2. It has a list of 10, 30, 40, 100, 250. So 5 items there, 5 items in there. So that's the key and that's the value. So pairs of keys and value. That's how a dictionary is made of. And then we create a data frame out of that. Let's say df is equal to pandas.dataframe, the data frame class, which can get the data as input. So this will create a data frame out of the data dictionary. Now I can print this data frame out here in the command line for you to see, but we don't have to do that when we can just say st.write and pass df there. So that data frame, you will write it in the app. Now if you go to the local app in your local browser in the local IP address and you say rerun, you should see the data frame displayed there in the web app. But if you go to the IP address, to the public URL of your app, you will not see that update. To update this, you want to first upload the changes to GitHub. So once you did the change, go to the version control section, add a commit message here, so add table or something like that. Just a note to know what you're doing, and commit and push to push the data to the GitHub account. Right, that's completed, the commit is completed. If you go to Streamlit now, surprise, you have the table already there. So the public URL is updated with the latest changes. So there are automatic updates from your GitHub account. Let's add the graph now that we have the data frame. For a line graph, you have the line chart method. Pass df there, and you should get this button again automatically on the browser. So rerun, and locally we see the graph in here. So we have one line for the first series and the second line for the second series. The Streamlit is not, the public URL of course is not yet updated because we need to do a commit and the push. Add graph as a commit message, commit and push. Go to the public site and voila, we have the graph there. You can also add other types of graphs such as st.area chart, df, rerun, and we should see another graph here. That one in there. You could also add widgets to your web app. For example, let's say my slider is equal to st.slider. Let's give this the label Celsius. You'll see in just a bit why I named this Celsius. Once you have a slider, then you want to add basically that slider to the web app. So write my slider. Let's say in Fahrenheit is my slider times 9 divided by 5 plus 32. So that is a formula that converts Celsius to Fahrenheit. You'll understand everything in just a bit. Yep, that's it. Let's rerun this app. And let's scroll down. That's the slider. So 0 Celsius degree is 32 Fahrenheit. How about 21? It's 69.8. Yep. So there you have an app that gets input from the user in a very interactive, fun way, and it returns the output instantly in here. Let me commit this as well, add slider, commit and push. And there we go. That's a complete app. And that concludes this video. I hope you found this interesting, and it's just amazing how much you can do with just 20 lines of Python code. I hope this worked for you, and I'll talk to you in the next videos. See you.